perhaps put your camera on. Thank you, Thomas. Everyone could just press, yep. And we will be creating a webpage on our website where we have access to all these recordings and resources and links from anybody who's spoken today, PowerPoints, etc. So I know quite a few people couldn't make it and they wanted to know that. So yeah, thank you so much for turning up today. Let's see if, oh, there we go. It's a bit slow. Thomas, if there's any issues with my screen or you can't see it fully, you just let me know and shout. So our agenda today, we're going to start with me giving a brief intro about City of Sanctuary. I'm going to try and run to time, and what we do, who we are, why we do what we do. I'm Kate. I've met lots of you face to face before. If you haven't, I have run this project for 2 years. It's been really good getting to grips with what's going on in Bradford, learning lots from schools and people seeking sanctuary. Prior to that, I've been teaching. I spent lots of my teaching career in Hare Hills, working with high numbers of EAL learners before actually moving to projects abroad and working in sub-Saharan Africa on access to education and improving the quality of education in schools there. And then I came back to Bradford. So yeah, Bradford is a city of sanctuary. Hopefully most of you have heard of us as a wider organisation. City of Sanctuary is a national movement across the whole of the UK about welcome and belonging, believing that all places in the UK, whether that's a school, a hospital, a library service, a station, should be welcoming places of sanctuary and safety for everyone seeking sanctuary coming here. And across the UK, we have about 120 community groups. Bradford is a city of sanctuary. You can see on the little dots on the map where we're all spread out. And then we have streams of sanctuary. So that, as I just said, is schools, libraries, every sector. Our goal is to make every sector a place of welcome and belonging for people seeking sanctuary. Why do we think schools and colleges of sanctuary are so important? And lots of you will know this already because you've been working with us. We had 6 schools achieve the award this year. Well done. And we have 17, I think, in total in Bradford, and we have about 48 who we message resources and stuff. So why are they important? Well, we really think that raising awareness about forced migration and building a culture of compassion with young people at the forefront is really, really essential for building more cohesive, tolerant societies. And our second reason is to ensure that education provision effectively supports and meets the new needs of new arrivals. So all of our work is around those 2 areas. So you could be a school that has lots of people seeking sanctuary. You could be a school that doesn't at all. And actually the award and the process is just as relevant to you because everybody needs to be aware of these issues. And why have we started a communities of practice group? As I said, we have done this before face to face, but this is our first online one. I think having worked on the project for 2 years, I've really been passionate about creating a space for schools to share good practice around education for refugee pupils and how we build more cohesive communities. It's a privilege actually to go around so many different schools. I think when I worked as a teacher, you have your head very much focused down working in your one school, but to be able to visit so many different schools and see things done well and be able to share that just feels yeah, like a no-brainer really. So the whole purpose of this group is to share that good practice from you as teachers in Bradford, to learn about opportunities from us at Schools of Sanctuary. Hopefully, if you're working towards the award, get a bit more of an idea as to what that looks like, and hear from guest speakers from organisations. We've got 2 today. I think we've got about 8 who want to speak at our next meeting in September, but we'll try and keep a good balance of teachers and other organisations, and importantly, we'll make helpful connections. Here's our little video. I don't know if you've seen it. It's 60 seconds. We've just made it recently. It's got some really nice pictures of schools from across Bradford and hopefully fills in a few of the facts I might have just missed out. So let's see if it works. Thomas, you shout if it doesn't. I hope that music leaves your head. Oops, when we were making it, yes, it didn't leave my head for a while. So I don't want to take up too much of this session, and I'm aware that lots of you will know this already. You'll have had our training and you'll know what we're about, but I'm also aware there's people on the call that have expressed interest in working with Schools of Sanctuary. There's a lovely picture of Lilycroft Primary here with little Amal. A quote there about education, providing hope and meaning for children who are out of school. We love that Bell Foundation publication if you've not seen it. But I want to move on quickly to give you a tiny overview for the next couple of minutes before we move on to the IRC about how do you become a School of Sanctuary. If you're interested in working with us, if this is the first time you've been in contact with us, this is for you really. So we're based around 3 aspects, so learn, embed, share. Learning, everything from staff training, assemblies, workshops, your curriculum, sharing good practice, and we offer lots of those things. We also work with lots of other organisations and signpost schools to these things. Staff training could be trauma related, it could be EAL training, it could be training about refugees and migration. That in a tiny nutshell is learn. And then we've got embed, which is all about your policies and practices. So looking at some of the practical things schools might do, looking at your approaches to teaching in the classroom, EAL, parent classes, your governors. Do you have people with lived experience on these panels of Seeking Sanctuary, social action, school council, lots of things. And then share. If you didn't spot us in the TNA, I put that up there as a plug last week. That's events, Day of Welcome. We're about to do a big awareness raising art exhibition that should have been in Refugee Week, but the election changed that plan. But it is going into libraries this week across the Bradford District and the media. We think that's really important to raise awareness of the good stuff that schools are doing. What do we offer? Teaching resources, training, assemblies, newsletters, links, membership of the network. And practically, how do you do it? We've got a really helpful checklist, which gives you how long it will take you to do each aspect. And hopefully, if I haven't met with you already, we'll be able to go through that in person. Get involved in our events, training, opportunities, fill in and submit the application. You get a visit from our assessment panel, and then you receive the award and attend the ceremony. So in terms of resources, we've got our website, which if you haven't been on it, has tons of things. I'm going to show you that in a moment. We have a teaching resource pack, Facebook group, Twitter, and our checklist and prompt sheet has really, really helpful ideas. And I'm going to attach all of these on our Communities of Practice page underneath this recording for you to look at in more detail. Every summer, every term, we send out a whole 2-page spread of opportunities in Bradford for your school to get involved with as well. So I think, can you still see my screen? I just wanted to show you really quickly our website, which is here. This is the Schools and Colleges tab. And under here, if you need any award resources, they're here. And if you need any further resources, we have them all here. And this is everything from assemblies, film workshops, EAL stuff, induction, staff CPD, supporting children, all kinds of things. So I'm not going to go into it further now because I want to stick to time with our agenda. But yeah, do get in touch with any questions. And I think, without further ado, unless anyone's got any immediate questions about Schools of Sanctuary now, I really want to use this space to hear from others. So could I hand over now to our first guest? I'll stop screen sharing. Thomas, if you could take the screen, who is Emily from the International Rescue Committee. I'll let you, I was going to introduce you there, Emily, but I'll let you introduce who you are, what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Kate. So thank you everyone for letting me speak and having a couple of minutes of your time on a really busy Monday. I will get my screen sorted here. And I am here from the International Rescue Committee. My name is Emily. as Kate had said, and I am the Senior Education Officer. So you've probably heard about the International Rescue Committee. It's a huge international NGO, and they deal a lot with disaster relief and climate relief. But what they've started to look at is countries that were starting to host refugees and asylum seekers. So the project that I work on, called Healing Classrooms, which is what I'm here to talk about today, started in some refugee camps and then went to the US, and they use this project a lot in the States, and it just got adapted to the UK in 2022. So it's a fairly new project. But you can see on the map here, this is where the IRC is located. So they, as I said, they do lots of kind of disaster relief, helping people thrive in times of conflict. And then in countries where we are hosting lots of refugee and asylum seekers, we've looked at how we can help resettlement and integration into the countries here. So the Healing Classrooms approach at its basic is a teacher training program. It is a free program that we've put together to support teachers in the classroom who have refugee and asylum seeking children in their class. But lots of the strategies, kind of like School of Sanctuary, lots of the strategies that we go over are really good practice for all of your children. So we look at things like in our first module, which is called Preparing a Safe Place to Land. We look at trauma and trauma-informed pedagogy, how toxic stress can affect how learners are in your classroom, what you can do to ensure that children do feel welcome, and just really tangible kind of easy tips to put in so that children do feel safe and welcome into your classroom. The second module that we look at is called Building a Community for Learning. And so that looks at a wider picture of your school. We go through policies and ensure that the families are integrated into the school, what we can be doing as a school community to reach out into the wider community and make people feel really welcome, how we can involve EAL families in our children's curriculum and how they can help support their children. And then the third module is geared towards fostering academic success. So I was a teacher for 8 years before I moved into the charity sector, and I was actually one of the first participants on the Healing Classrooms approach in 2022. So I used this a lot as an EAL coordinator, and then I was a specialist EAL teacher with the council. So this kind of informed a lot of my own pedagogy, and I can genuinely tell you that they are quite good resources and strategies that the IRC has come up with. The third module, the Fostering Academic Success, really looks at how we can ensure that children are progressing academically. So once we've kind of got all of their social and emotional health needs met, we look at that first in the first two sections, and then how can we ensure that they are actually progressing academically? How are we assessing them? Kind of checklists to go through for your school. How can you make sure that they are meeting the needs of the curriculum, but also being able to access a little part of it if English is their second language. So as I said, this was started in refugee camps and then piloted across in the US, and they've been doing this since 1996, and then adapted in 2022 for the UK school system. So it's been really interesting. The program has changed quite a bit. It's quite flexible. We're a really small team, so we're able to kind of take the feedback from the training and ensure that we're meeting our teachers' needs. Everybody on the team was a teacher, so we all do have school experience. And yeah, so the way that it's set up is, again, it's all free sessions that you can sign up for. We would love to do kind of in-person bespoke training, CPD days, inset days. That would be amazing. It just depends where we are. I'm currently based in Newcastle, so if we had to travel, we would just ask that travel expenses be covered. But if we do it online, it's completely free. And every participant will get a handbook. So if you sign up for the Healing Classrooms program, it's a 100-page handbook that you'll get. And it has case studies, time for reflection and discussion, lots of really good kind of activities that you can implement in your classroom. One of the EMAS teachers that we work with referred to it as the Bible. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. There's a lot of really good information in there, and everyone will get that if you sign up for the training. It's 3 1.5-hour session. So we do open sessions, and people from all over the country can dial in, which is really nice to kind of share good practice across the country. Or if you wanted to do it for a specific school, we can also look at that as well. We're really, again, quite flexible and open to how we provide our training. So it says 1.5 hours. I quite like to talk a lot. So when I do the training, it usually goes to like 2 hours, but I do try to keep it 1.5 hours to 2, but there's some really good discussion and there's really good practice that is shared. So I think it is really important to be able to have that time. We are also offering a CPD course. So this is a fully accredited course, and it's a 5-session, 1.5 hour to 2 hours again. And it goes a little bit more into toxic stress and trauma and how we can ensure that children are learning through that and how we can help as educators rewire their brains so they're actually ready to learn. Lots of the children, as you will know, have gone through really traumatic journeys. So we talk about things like how to safely discuss their journey if they are ready to talk about that, how not to re-traumatize, using your safeguarding policy. We go through that and make sure that everybody as a team know how to safely and effectively support refugee and asylum seekers. If you have completed one of those and you think this is a great kind of training program and you'd like to bring it further, you can sign up to be a Healing Classrooms champion. So this is like a train the trainer kind of scenario. It's an extra 2-hour course, and it just kind of goes through the resources. And obviously, as educators, you know how to facilitate, but we talk about the case studies and where they've come from. So you just have a bit more information. And then something that we've just started this year is the Healing Spaces. So this is more for voluntary and community sector organizations who work with refugee and asylum seeking children. It's only 2 modules because they don't really need the fostering academic success module. So it's focusing on building a safe place to land and creating a community for learning. We've had lots of success looking at galleries of sanctuary, theaters of sanctuary for this program, but we've worked with councils. Loads of people have signed up for this. So I think that is quite promising. We've started in the education sector, and now we're trying to expand the Healing Spaces program into the wider world. And it's proved to be really, really successful. So that's very exciting for the team. When you do sign up, or if you decide to sign up or a school signs up, as I said, you get a handbook, and that's a physical copy. So sometimes that's just quite nice to have. There's space for you to reflect and discuss and kind of write and journal, thinking about the children that you're teaching. But online, we have, again, all of our resources are free, so you can go to the website and access these. There are country-specific teacher briefings. So currently we have Ukrainian and Afghani students, and these specific teacher briefings talk about the school system in those countries and how different they are from the UK system, but how we can support these specific children in our classrooms. So I found them really helpful. It just gives you like quite good information about what perhaps children might find difficult, what might be similar, what they're kind of used to in their school, how their school system works, what the school day looks like. And I'm working on putting together at least a little package for Hong Kong students, because that is where we're seeing a lot of children coming from as well. So that should be on the website fairly soon. And then the Games Bank and the Lesson Bank, these are great. They're like 10-minute kind of really quick social emotional learning interventions. If you have 10 minutes in a classroom and you're like, we need to play a game for 5 minutes, it works on brain building, conflict resolution, social emotional skills, friendship building, loads of different things that kind of benefit all children through play. And they're really resource friendly. So they're quite low in resource. You can just pick the game up and have a little go with it. So I use these quite a lot as starters in my sessions. There was a lot that we could take from them, and they are very, very good. So if you would like to kind of spread the word, that would be amazing. I think this is a really good community of practice where we can start sharing these resources. This is the email that you could email, the Healing Classrooms one, or my direct email. If you'd like to set up a meeting, we can talk more about how a bespoke session would look, or what that might look like for your schools. If you think, oh, I know like a great voluntary organization that would really benefit from this, I'll happily put you in contact with Jude, who's leading on that part of the project. But all of our stuff is on the website. And as I said, we're a pretty small team. So I think there's 3 of us in the education team, and then Jude, who runs the Healing Spaces. So it would be great to kind of connect with as many people as we can. So please feel free to drop me an email. I love kind of talking about this stuff and seeing how we can work together, spread our project far and wide. I think it's really important, particularly in the climate that we're in now. Hopefully it's changed a little bit with a new government, but I think it's really good to have this kind of backing, and teachers feel very confident when they have the training in this, and then they can take it forward into their communities. So, oh, that was a whistle stop tour. I talked so fast. I'm so sorry, Kate, but I hope I stayed to time.
That's great. You have stuck to time. Well done. Perfect. And thank you, Emily. That was really, really, really helpful. And there's almost an overwhelming amount of CPD out there on this, but the IRC I feel like their training has been tried and tested, written by teachers. And we've had several schools in Bradford use it this year, which is partly why I invited you specifically. Atlas, I don't know if they're here. I know they really benefited from using it. So that's why we're particularly like waving it. And perhaps as you think about, your staff CPD and staff meetings next year, just consider whether the Healing Classrooms programme might be something worth thinking about. It's free and it's really good. So get in touch with Emily. I will send round all the resources after this or put them on the site.
Brilliant. Yeah.
To follow up with.
I think it's really nice to be working with Schools of Sanctuary because obviously our work is so linked and we cross over in a lot of different ways. But it's just nice to have a good community where people can go to and have lots of really good advice. So yes, thank you so much, Kate. That was
you're
wonderful
welcome.
to be able
and there was a fabulous article in the Guardian at the weekend about the IRC and how they transformed one school in the UK. So I'll forward that link too.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Emily.
So much. Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, next on our agenda, we have a newly accredited School of Sanctuary, Eastwood Community School, I believe. Just double check. Yep. Zaban, are you happy to talk and ready to talk? Oh, and Rizvana.
We are. Hello.
Great. Hello.
Hi. So there's both Riz and I here. We accredited just last month. So last year we attended the piecemeal at Keighley College, where we really basically thought, well, actually, these are all our visions and values that we, have in our school. It's something that we were already doing. So we applied for the School of Sanctuary Award. We really enjoyed going through the process because we collected all the evidence. It was a whole school approach for us. It was getting everybody on board. And you have to have everybody on board to do it, really. And that's including all the staff, the senior leaders, parents, governors, everybody basically on board to take part in it. So we started with a staff committee, didn't we?
We did. So we were really inspired, first of all. So our children took part in an art competition for Refugee Week in 2023, and we were invited to go to Keighley College, who will become an outstanding School of Sanctuary. We decided, we were really inspired by the head teacher's talk about building relationships. We were inspired by the refugee Keighley College students, listen to their stories, and we thought, this is what our children need. This is the bit that we're missing here at Eastwood, where our children need to be inspired. We're showing them videos about lives of refugees, but we need them to somebody to come in to speak to our children so that they actually understand what life is like for refugees. It is part and parcel of what we do. Like Zaban said, it's not a bolt-on for anything. It is part of our vision and values. One of the things that we've learned from this accreditation is making connections. We've worked really closely with Kate, but also with other schools that have been accredited this year. So we worked in LePage. We had a chance to go and visit Keighley College again. We had a chance to go and visit LePage. We built those connections. And for us, it's going to see good practice. One of the things that we saw, which we took away again, was relaunching our buddy system. Pre-COVID, that's something that we did really, really well. Post-COVID, it's something that was just overlooked. And that, again, we've reinitiated that buddy system for our children. Also, simple things which may seem simple in the moment is saying hello in different languages. So we introduced it against the staff, but by doing bingo as opposed to having extra workload for staff, because that's not what we want. We want it to be part and parcel of everything we do. One of the things I would advise for any schools that are moving forward is to ensure that SLT senior leadership team have the buy-in from them, because if they support you with what you're doing and the work that you're doing, that will definitely go the extra mile. Zaban and I did fill out the application form. However, we had a team of people working closely with us, so it wasn't just filling out the form and filling out the application form. So we had the PSHC lead supporting us with that, the history lead, the geography lead, the RE lead, and the early years lead. So we all worked closely together. We did the initial audit, which Kate sent us, which worked really, really well. We then worked together in teams. We divvied out the roles in terms of delegated as to who's going to do which part of the application. In terms of the curriculum, which is, Kate spoke to us about as being a big element of that, we asked staff, to talk about their curriculum and what they do in their year group. because as senior leaders, you don't always remember what everyone's doing. So in terms of, there's an audit that I think Kate will probably most likely share with other schools. So we ask staff to write down exactly what they're doing in terms of their English lessons, the books that they're using, in terms of any songs that they are using in their classes, any history topics that they are teaching, just because we felt that will help us in terms of moving forward. We, like Emily's just talked about, we've got 2 staff who are trained now in the healing classrooms, and that's been really effective. We've also we used resources for the buddy system again to relaunch it. So in the training package that you've got with the IRC, we actually use that to relaunch our buddy system, and we feel it's been working effectively.
We also did the trauma informed training as well through the Schools of Sanctuary. What else did we do? We've used quite a lot of the resources are very, very useful and very good, and we really took them on board, so that was really good. And this is all through starting from early years up to year 6, so embedded all the way through, and getting the parents on board as well. So it wasn't just with the children, it was with the parents as well as the governors. So the work was done with the parents, so we had a parents committee as well, and a parents voice, and with the children as well. So we had the buddies as well as the culture counsellors, ambassadors, what else have we got? The culture counsellors, junior leaders, and our ambassadors as well. So we had our children's voices as well within that as well, to move forward. We also did the piecemeal was hosted within our school, so we had a committee to organise that as well. So we linked in with Keighley College, the Quaker Centre, and other organisations. So we worked closely with them. So we've got some really good links now that we've established with the other organisations, which is really good, and links that we wouldn't have even known about, and organisations that we didn't actually know about that I've got really good links with now, which is really good.
I think one of the things that I think staff might be reluctant about is when you're thinking about seeking sanctuary, is one of the things I asked Kate about as well. It's not just about refugees, and it's about the bigger picture. Even with early years, it's about our home, it's identity, it's belongings, relationships that you have. And I think for us, when we looked into it deeply, we thought this is something that we definitely need to go for, because actually it's what we do here at Eastwood, and it's about building brighter futures together, and that's what we aim for, and that's part of our vision and values. And in terms of early years, in terms of the curriculum days that we do, in terms of working with our staff team for lunches, in terms of any theme days that we do, in terms of Diwali, Eid, and I think it's that bigger picture, that broader picture in terms of just about seeking sanctuary, and I think that's what's helped us.
So we had an international day that we launched in, where we had a welcome day, where we invited parents into school and we opened it up to the community. We had the piecemeal. What else did we do that we sort of tagged in? Because we do so much, it's remembering it all as well. It's a busy time of year as well. So we've done quite a lot of work within that. But it's something, because it was something that we do anyway. It was it wasn't an extra thing that we were doing. But we enjoyed it, and we've really, we're carrying it on, and hopefully we want to get other schools that are in our trust within Keighley to be part of School of Sanctuary as well. So we're going to be helping and supporting them as well.
Brilliant. Thank you guys so much. I don't know if anybody else has been writing notes from what they've just said. I will. Oh, is there an echo? Is that me? If you want a good day out in Keighley, I'd recommend a visit to Eastwood Community Primary. Fantastic range of ideas, and I think particularly with you guys, it was your whole school approach to the award. It was how you engaged the staff, the parents, the governors, all the children. We were really blown away by that. And they did a fantastic collaborative project with some students seeking sanctuary at Keighley College, and had this exchange going, and heard lots of stories. And again, we can send the link to the article we wrote about that, and look out for the Keighley News article coming out about you guys soon. First school in Keighley to get the award. So thank you. Tons of brilliant tips and pieces of advice there, which I will send round, and I have scrolled a lot of them down right now. So thank you guys. That's really helpful and inspirational. Thank you. Okay, moving swiftly on. And if you have any questions, we will have time for questions at the end, so do keep a note of things. Can I invite, is it Marketa? Oh, it's Nushin. Nushin, hello.
Hi, I do apologise. I don't know why my video will not start for some reason. The
Oh,
camera
don't
will
worry.
access the camera because I'm logged on from my phone in my car.
Oh no,
So as long as you
Sorry.
can hear me, so yeah. So I mean, where do I begin? I could talk about all that we do at Westminster all day long, really. But Kate did ask me to focus more on supporting refugee children and their families in school. So that's the bit that I will focus on. So Westminster is just a bit of background. Westminster's it's larger than an average primary school, but as is the case with all other schools, we do have reducing pan. We have around 36 languages, different languages that are spoken at Westminster, and we do have high levels of mobility. Now, upon admission, pupils are given a school tour. We also provide a school jumper and a book bag for all children. There are dual language resources available in all classrooms, including a basic phrases and words booklet on display in every learning space as part of as a point of reference for staff and children. Parents are sent out how is your child settling in forms a week after they've arrived at the school, which and it's a forms which can be translated into different languages and home languages. Families are also contacted, a couple of weeks into the child settling into the school, just for a brief discussion about how they've settled into the school and how the family has settled into the school as well. Now, at Westminster, we have a very strong inclusion team, and this inclusion team work very closely with the families who may need support. So, for example, we have a weekly school food bank, which is supporting not only our refugee and asylum seeker families, but all families as well, other families who are experiencing poverty. We have WhatsApp groups which are in place, so we had a WhatsApp group in place for our families who were housed at Cedar Court Hotel, because we had a large number of children who were actually housed at the Cedar Court Hotel, as we did with families housed at Merchant House as well. We now only have two families who are still housed at Cedar Court Hotel, and we don't have any families housed at Merchant House anymore. But these WhatsApp groups, included messages, for example, about enrichment visits, trips, general day-to-day queries, details of food bank deliveries, taxis arranged for pupil collection, general appreciation from the family for the support school provides, and again, WhatsApp allowed these messages to be translated into home languages. We provide help with home to school transport. So for example, the school minibus, it went out and collected and dropped off our key vulnerable families when housed at Cedar Court Hotel and Merchant House. We hold weekly English classes for our parents. We've organised and held successful community events during Christmas, Eid, Easter, celebrating our truly diverse community, further developing that strong sense of community and belonging. We even provided our families housed at the hotel access to our school kitchen, which allowed them to cook some wonderful homemade dishes. We have set up sanctuary ambassadors, which are part of our school council, and Kate initially worked with our sanctuary ambassadors, and through our regular meetups, we explore feelings around living in a new country. We work on ideas for welcoming refugees, asylum seekers. We also look at further potential fundraisers, and they also have a big pupil voice, a big pupil say on ideas for Refugee Week. We also only this year set up a young interpreter scheme. Now, the young interpreter scheme is it's an official scheme which was actually launched by Hampshire Council. So in order to become a young interpreter, the children actually had to go through a strict selection process. So they had to actually apply for this role. So the idea of the young interpreters is to, they act as buddies. So any new arrivals, whether they are new to English or not, they support these pupils in class. They support them during break times, during transition times. And it's just a way of celebrating the many different languages and culture within our school, whilst also helping our new to English learners improve on their English. Now, 3 years ago, we did actually have a huge influx of Afghani refugee asylum seeker families, and they were all new to English. They didn't speak a word of English, so we did set up a new to English intervention, new to English provision. So every morning, these children from year 2 across to year 6 used to come out for an English language intervention, and in the afternoon they were back in the class sort of mixing with their peers. I'm not going to talk too much about the setup of that because I know Marketa is also going to talk about effective new to English practice. And we actually achieved School of Sanctuary status last academic year. 2 years ago, when we did receive more information about Schools of Sanctuary, we had to look at this information as a senior leadership team, as a whole school, and actually all the criterion, all that you need to sort of evidence, provide evidence of, we realise that actually it's part and parcel of daily life at Westminster. So again, the evidence that we were able to provide, the application form, it just sort of came about quite naturally because it was all part and parcel of day-to-day life at Westminster. We also, when we had the arrival of our Afghani asylum seeker families, we had a parent actually who swiftly became a parent ambassador on behalf of the other families. This parent's family were forced to flee Afghanistan, and because this particular parent had greater language proficiency, they were able to act as a bridge between school and the other families. And due to their credibility, actually, they were selected as a parent governor and started their governance role at Westminster. However, they managed to secure permanent housing in Leeds, so that the family moved on. So, yes, I hope you've.
Thank you, Nosheen. Goodness, I feel like I could let you lead the whole hour, to be honest, on all of those examples of good practice. So many. Westminster have a fantastic example of how they worked with their Afghan families, and having an Afghan governor was really, I think, transformational, wasn't it, for your sort of Afghan community, and the way he acted as a bridge was so valuable. And the access to the kitchens at Christmas was just phenomenal for families who are stuck in hotels. So there is this is what I mean. There's so much great stuff going on in schools in Bradford and Keighley that, we just doesn't get shouted about at all. So thank you so much, Nosheen. And as you said, for you guys, the evidence was pretty much already there. And schools come from all sorts of different positions. For some, the award process kind of prompts them to tighten up on a few things. I think you mentioned about tightening up on a few things at Eastwood. But yeah, and for you, Nosheen, so much of the award was already sort of part and parcel of what you do. But thank you for sharing. Again, I've written everything down that you said, and we'll write these in concise bullets to share around. Thank you. Let's move on to our next speaker. We've got two more. So we've got Marketa, who is the fantastic New to English coordinator at Carlton Bolling. And I think, Thomas, you are going to share Marketa's slides, aren't you?
Hi.
Hello. Over to you. When the slides pop up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yes, so we're in a city school with about 1,600 students. Majority of our students are British Pakistani and British Bangladeshi students. We've got a quite sizable number of Roma Gypsy students in school. I think it's about between 60 to 100 students. I would say that we've got about 60 asylum seeking and refugee students. And in our school, the last time I've checked, we speak about 42 languages. We get lots of school children coming from Westminster Primary, so it's been lovely to hear what Nosheen and her school are doing to support their pupils. How do we all start? So when we have new arrivals, we normally have a pre-admission meeting with loads of fact-finding. The council used to provide an interpreter, but they don't do this anymore. But so we try to book an interpreter or family member if there is a family member that speaks English, or also we have few staff members that are bilingual and speak different languages, so we tend to use them. And so during the admission, I get to find out about the family circumstances and the students, and when they come into the admission meeting, the students are quite shy, so I don't get to find out much when it comes to their level of English. So I have to test them when they actually start school. I've recently, last year, subscribed to EAL Star, which is a quite handy program that assesses all the main areas like speaking, reading, listening, and writing. So I use that to find the levels of students' English, and based on those levels, then I create a student profile which I share with staff, and any background information that they need to know how to support the student, and any strategies they need to adopt in their teaching. And if the student, in terms of the language proficiency, if they are on level C, we try to send them to mainstream lessons. Sometimes it can be quite overwhelming because the school in their country might have been much smaller than ours, so we try to send them there quite gradually. We start with a core subject first, maybe PE, then art, and then eventually we'll send them full-time. If the students are assessed as very new to English, like at the level A, or beginners level B, we keep them. We've got quite a bespoke new to English provision, because many of our students, when they come and they are new to English, some of them, they've never been to school before, even in their home country. So it's difficult to send them to mainstream lessons where they can't even read and write. It would be difficult for the students and also the teachers. So what we do is they have 2 hours of English every day. The first 1 hour it concentrates on vocabulary and grammar, and the second hour we do lots of reading and phonics, just to get them priorities, to get them reading as soon as possible. They have maths every day, they have science every week, art, we do teach PSHE, religion, history, geography, ICT, and I also do life skills with them, and I forgot to mention food technology as well. But those lessons like maths, English, and the rest of them, they are at, although we are a secondary school, they are very much at primary school level. So we start, say, key stage. I do teach them, for example, now I teach them year 2 maths, and that's what the students, because they've never had any, so I can't suddenly jump if they are in year 9, I can't suddenly jump and to Year 9 curriculum when there was nothing else before. But if the students are doing really well, we don't want to hold them in the new to English curriculum, and I do half-termly assessments, and as soon as they are ready, I'd love to move them out to mainstream lessons so they get taught with the peers, and then the English language is modeled to them. So yes, and many of them, when they go to mainstream lessons, because we've got loads of sets, we've got about 7-8 sets per subject, so I try to for them not to go to the bottom sets, because many of them they're bright as well. It doesn't mean that they don't speak the language, that they're not clever. So they do, and they, with the right support and the strategies used, they thrive. We do in food technology, for example, we follow we use as done challenges, and so I always pick certain challenge. So sometimes it's difficult for them to get the system. The British system is about qualifications, testing, and qualifications. But if they can't read and write, they can't access any like GCSEs. So I try to do as done challenges with them in food technology. For example, now we are exploring the world cuisines. So they like to, they told me what they like, the dishes in their country. So we've got some Kuwaiti children, so we cooked a meal from their country, and they really like it. And then at the end of the lesson that they eat together, the food they've cooked. Next week we're going to cook Hungarian dish, because we've got some students who are Hungarian. So that's about, we use, apart from the EAL staff for testing, I use the Bell Foundation assessment tracker, because that's quite helpful in terms of assessing students where they are at, and setting targets, what they need to work on. We've subscribed to Learning Village, which is a very nice interactive program. It's very visual, very interactive for students. So they use this, sometimes we use it in lesson, and I tend to set them homework on there. The students, when they come, and if they don't have access to laptops or computers, I encourage them to stay in the school library, or recently I've been requesting laptops from the Bradford Council. They've got a digital inclusion program, so I've been getting our refugee and asylum seeker students laptops through there. I've just ordered Racing to English. We've had this quite old program by Gordon, his name's Gordon Ward. So there is it's a good for survival skills, and it's very visual program. It includes the vocabulary and grammar. So I've subscribed to that because we've had it in school, but I don't have the complete package. So I think that will be really good in terms of lesson planning. And then I also use My Maths Primary, which is also really good for setting homework, and just as an extra, what we do in our provision, new to English provision, I've got all the year groups in one group. So students from year 7 to year 11, and they come with different levels. So sometimes if I have to help one student, then I can put one student onto a computer. So it's as my like a supporting program. I also use EAL Language Builder. It's got really lovely, simple worksheets for students that I can give them as homework. We use Lexia for encouraging students to read and for comprehension, but don't think the progress has been, because I found some research from the Education Endowment Foundation. I don't think it's been that good for the very beginner students. So we're going to replace it with Lexonic, which seems to be it's a program that we're going to subscribe to as a whole school, because it's got a really good, successful and quite speedy progress rate. And
Marketa,
yes.
I'm so sorry. We've got about 5 or 6 minutes left of the
Oh, no
meeting. I'm
problem.
aware we've got one more speaker. I know what's coming up in your slides, and there are some such fantastic things there. So I don't want to hurry you at all. But would you like to? There's some really good. This is brilliant. But
yeah, that's fine. We can move on to the next one. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, so we help the new arrivals with a uniform voucher, or when some of them they don't qualify for any vouchers or anything, so we give them. I tend to recycle uniforms, which I then wash in school, and then we hand them out to students. We've got a buddy system like at Westminster Primary School. Students. We give them a visual timetable so they know, because we're a large school, we've got loads of different classrooms over 3 floors. So the visual timetable tends to help with that. We've got bilingual staff that helps to communicate with students. Some of them, as I said, they don't speak any English at all, so it can be hard, especially to start with. We encourage the students to do extracurricular activities. We provide them with after-school intervention just for extra support if they do need help with homework or reading, one-to-one reading. We do loads of trips. We go to Dales. We went to Nosy Safari Park. We went to Tropical World. When the students come in, I print. Twinkle is another good resource. I print them vocabulary maps so they've got something to refer to at home, and I browse the whole internet to find as many bilingual resources as possible, so they've got something at home to refer to as well, instead of a knowledge organizer. Yes. And can we move on to the next one?
One more slide, Thomas. Yeah.
Yes. When the students come through the resettlement program, they come with extra funding. So through the funding, which is ring fence for them really, so we buy them the full uniform, not just the first time they start, but when they grow out of it, then we buy them further uniform. We give them the equipment. I always get them a laptop. If there are any trips, so all the cost gets covered from that budget, even if it's residential, all the books, resources. I ensure that they have access to interpreters for parents' evenings, and also meeting with parents. So this is just we do much more, but we run out of time.
You really do. Carlton Bolling have been a school of sanctuary for a very long time. You're reaccredited last year. Marketa, thank you so much for sharing what you do. It's really good to hear about it from a secondary school angle. And I know your EAL department is buzzing. We've got a few other EAL people on the call, I think from Hanson and from Oasis. And I know that somebody's asked on the chat actually whether we can share email addresses after this meeting. If you're not happy for your email address to be shared as part of the community as a practice group, if you could let me know, that would be helpful. That's probably the better way around of doing it. I really don't want to miss that. Would everybody be okay to stay on for an extra massive pain? Thomas has said to keep the room open, but we've just got a brilliant, we've got Jude from St. Joseph's, and I really don't want to miss that. And we've got a brief announcement from Natalia as well. So Jude, without further ado, sorry we're running a bit late, but thank you so much for coming.
Hello, I'll give you a little bit of very brief school background. So there are lots of St. Joseph's in Bradford and Bingley and Keighley. We're Bradford St. Joseph's. We are on Manchester Road, just near St. Luke's Hospital. If you don't know we're here, you would miss us. We have got 60 home languages. We have got massive mobility. So for example, this year, we have lost 35 children and gained 36, because I had a new child start in my class this week and I teach year 6. Our mission statement is protect with love all of God's gifts. So we protect ourselves, protect each other, protect God's word, protect creation, and protect those in need. And obviously our mission statement covers being a school of sanctuary. We've been a school of sanctuary for a good few years. We reaccredited this year. We have a trauma-informed school, we use restorative practice, and I'm really going to talk to you about our curriculum and how we adapt our curriculum based on need. If I go back a few Christmases ago, we were, before Christmas, majority white Eastern European school, and when we came back after the Christmas holidays, we were 25% Nigerian. And we had a little look at our curriculum because we wanted to make sure that all of our children who attend St. Joseph's feel like they belong, that they've got a place here. So we did things like we swapped out one of our curriculum topics for the Kingdom of Benin and Nigeria, and really gave the children from Nigeria ownership over that. We do in year 5, we do a whole unit of work on how migration has shaped Bradford. We take our year 5s out, we go and look around little Germany, and we learn about all of the positives that Bradford has gained through migration. Year 6s at the minute are doing another unit on migration, building on the stuff that they've done in year 5, and we add into that climate, refugees, and we really look at the damage that we're doing to our planet and how it affects the most vulnerable people. Sanctuary is threaded through things like our RE curriculum, our SMSC. We use lots of a book spine, so there's all of our texts are based on home, travel, belonging, movement, and movement between countries. It's not just taught isolated, but it's threaded through everything. It's something that's happened since forever, since going back to even, you know, Anglo-Saxons and Vikings. We've adapted our curriculum as well in that in early years in Key Stage 1, all of the children access forest schools. So the children who are new to the country get out and get into some greenery and get really out and enjoying and exploring. And another thing that we do to support our new to English and our EAL students is that we are an RSC school. So I don't know if anyone's heard of Voice 21. We are a Voice 21, soon to become a, I can't remember the term, but yeah, we are going to be a Voice 21 school, Centre of Excellence. So everything that we do is taught through RSC, through speaking. That sounds like it might actually be difficult for our children with EAL, but we have got such good inclusion practices. We use Widget Online, which means that anything for RSA will have visual prompts in the child's home language, and everything is modelled. We use groups where the child will have somebody else in the group who speaks their home language, everything through RSA, and it comes through when the children speak about our school to people from outside. They are so proud of the fact that we are a school of sanctuary, and they're able to verbalise what that actually means, and what it means to be part of St. Joseph's and a school of sanctuary. Personal development wise, we've had International Week this year, and one of the things we've done for the first time is Aspirations Week. And one of the challenges for us was to make sure that all of our children, well, most of them, had somebody come in from their background so that they could see themselves represented in a grown-up doing a really good job that they really enjoyed, and learning about the different how they started in one country and how actually they've ended up here doing a job that they love. That's a whistle-stop tour of curriculum. It's something that we're never stop adapting. Our school now we've got a lot of Eritrean children and children from India. We seem to be the school that children end up in first. Unlike other schools, we're not reducing our pan. We've got a waiting list of 86 children, and it's not because we're a Catholic school, it's because we have reputation. Families start in BD5 because this is where the cheap housing is. We know we've got a really important job to do because sometimes our children will stay here for a year, but other times they'll move on. So it's not just about educating them and making them feel safe, it's about preparing them for wherever they're going on to. So that's a whistle-stop tour of curriculum at St. Joseph's.
Brilliant, thank you so much. And your context and the mobility, I mean, yeah, it's just really interesting to hear where everybody is across Bradford. But we know at St. Joseph's that you've done fantastic work in this area for so many years. You re-accredited this summer, didn't you? But when you were talking to you about your curriculum when we last met, I thought that was particularly interesting about how you're adapting your curriculum to reflect the change demographic and to reflect the different cultures that are coming into school. And schools of sanctuaries, you know, curriculum is such an important aspect of the award and of the process, and you know, about migration. and all sorts of things. So thank you very, 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 very much. And thank you to all our teacher speakers. I'm aware that there's Natalia from Braithwaite Trust that wanted to pop on just to share a really good opportunity that launches in September. So we need to get this announcement in just before we break off. Natalia, are you there?
Hiya, can you hear us?
Oh yes, hello, there they are. Great.
Hiya. So I'm Natalia, and this is my colleague Summer. We work at Braithwaite Trust, which is a children and young people's charity based in Bradford. We've been here a lot of years, and we deliver lots of different programs, but the one we want to focus on is our Unite program, which is aimed at children and young people across Bradford, particularly BD5, BD3 postcodes. And it's a really nice opportunity that we're offering out for these children. I'll let Summer just briefly sort of explain. We won't go into too much detail today because we have got a slot in September where we'll be able to go into a bit more of the ins and outs. But just to give you a short brief, because we're currently delivering on a cohort which has been really, really successful, and we're starting a new cohort in September. So we just wanted to get the message out really to your schools that might be within the BD5, BD3 postcodes, in case you've got any young people that you might want to refer on. So I'll hand over to Summer to just give you a very brief summary. And if you want more information, I know there's some our flyer going out, which has got our QR code on, which you can easily scan and just send through any information, fill in the form, it'll come through to us and we'll follow it up with a call and we can give you a little bit more information about it. But yeah, just to sort of give you a little brief anyway, just roughly summarise.
Yeah. So hi everyone, so I'm Summer. The project we run is called Unite. It is for refugee children. So like Natalia said, we're targeting them between the ages of 10 to 13. So academically, that's about year 5 to I think year 9. And it is targeted towards refugee children, asylum seeking, and anyone under the Ukrainian settlement programme. So our programme is a 10-week long programme with a 3-day residential at the end. That's at our site up in Ambleside. That's fully funded for, so the families won't have to pay a thing. We will transport them there and back, so that residential is completely funded for. It's also a lot of outdoor activity up in the Lake District and just getting to know different parts of the country, because obviously we will be working with children and families from Bradford. The sessions that we do here are all about increasing confidence, increasing self-esteem, signposting and access to services in the local area to help support families. So for example, if the families are new to English, need help with reducing healthcare inequalities, because that's something that our funders have identified as a problem and a need for these families and these children. So we are very much working on that. Our sessions can consist of exploring Bradford. So the families and children that we work with can range from being settled in the UK for quite a while or have just moved to the UK from their home country. So a lot of it is about integrating them into British culture, introducing them to Bradford, helping increase English skills. So we also do have use of interpreters that we've used for families that are new to English, and we keep rapport with both the schools and the parents. And we also do a lot of family sessions, so the families can come in, they can get to know us as the young people charity and families charity that we are. We can also do workshops for the parents, so it's not just supporting the young people, it is also supporting the families and introducing them to the local community as well. Yeah, and so you want to talk about? Yep.
So we'll leave it quite brief at that.
I know sorry not to
over already, but yeah, we can give you more in September. Yeah. But it's just if anybody, if you've got any young people, you feel they'll benefit, refer them through and we'll give you a call.
Yeah, brilliant. So we'll send around your leaflet with all the other stuff. And I know some schools have been engaged with Westminster. Other schools have been engaged with you. I can see them on this call. That's brilliant. Thank you. And we'll hear more from you in September. It'd be nice to hear actually about how the project's gone and what that looks like. Thank you, everybody. I'm aware that it's 16:53 and you're probably all getting really hungry. Thank you so much for joining today. I wonder if you could just do me a really quick favor, and in the chat, can you just pop down one thing that you found helpful or learnt or will take away from this meeting. Our next meeting is the 16th of September. Each meeting will be slightly different. I will give more time to speakers next meeting, and we will also hear from different organisations. We'll also have opportunities for discussion, and we will sort of trial different formats so people's voices and questions can be heard. But I hope you've got a couple of helpful ideas, and just see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. Newsletter coming up, webpage. Just look out for an email. But thank you so much for all you do in our schools in Bradford and to make our city a more welcoming place. And I really hope for those of you who are teachers, you have a wonderful summer holiday. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.